All right, class. Hello, and today we're going to continue with what we started on yesterday with working with angles. Yesterday we were talking about using the properties of supplementary angles and vertical angles to find the measure of an unknown angle. And today we're going to kind of continue in that same vein, except now we're going to be talking about using the properties of complementary angles and vertical angles. So in our first problem, we have a rectangle. And we have angles, we have a rectangle KLMN, and it tells you that line NK and line MK are extended to be as shown in the diagram. The measure of angle MKL is X. That's this angle right here, MKL. That measure is X. All right, so we should be able to see that. And then they tell us that the measure of angle NKM, which is this angle here, NK and then M, that angle is X plus 14. So we have X plus 14. All right. So we're going to use the property of complementary angles. We know that complementary angles add up to 90 degrees. So if you look at this real close, you'll see that MKL, right, MKL and MKN form a 90-degree angle because they tell you that this is a rectangle, so by definition it's a four-sided figure made up of four right angles. So this angle right here, NKL is 90 degrees, right? And the other two angles that we talked about, they make up that angle. So the way we're going to find the value of X and to find the value of PKQ, which is what our question says we need to do, to find the value, the measure of PKQ, we're going to add those we're going to add those two angles together, forming a right angle. So we're going to start with this angle here, the measure of angle MKN, the measure of angle NKN. So we got the measure of angle MKN is equal to X plus 14. Right? And the measure of angle MKL, is equal to X degrees. All right, now we know that because they are complementary, they'll add together and give 90 degrees. So what we're going to do is we're going to write out those measures, X plus 14 plus X itself, right? That's going to equal 90. Now, because we are just adding, there's no multiplication or division, it's just addition and subtraction, we can just remove the parentheses and say X plus 14 plus X equal 90. All right? And when we do that, then we just combine like terms, and if we combine like terms, we got an X here, and we got a plus X here. That's going to give us 2X. Then we have the plus 14 right there, and that's going to give us 90 degrees. So we subtract 14 from both sides because we want to isolate that variable on its own, and we're going to get 2X is equal to 76 degrees, right? If we divide by 2 on both sides, we'll get X is equal to 38 degrees, right? But that doesn't answer our question. Our question is, what's the measure of PKQ, right? So what we have to do is figure out what is the measure of this angle right here, which is X plus 14, because these two are vertical angles. So we just find this, then we have the measure of that. So we're going to simply substitute 38 in for X, right? So we have X plus 14, right? And we're going to say 38 plus 14 If we add those two together, we get 8 and 4 is 12. 3 and 1 is 4, and then we get 52. So 52 plus 38 should equal 90. So let's check that out. 52 plus 38, we get 0, and we get 90. So this angle here is 52 degrees, and because this is a vertical angle, then it will also have the same measure of 52 degrees. All right, so you should be able to follow that, and we'll continue to talk about that tomorrow when I get back. All right, so let's take a look at what we did. Let me go over here and click on this again, just for some reason. All right, so we did all that work, and we're here. So what we need to do is explain why we were able to do certain things. Well, at this point right here, we have our equation, x plus 14 equals 90, because we know that these two angles were complementary angles. Because we don't have anything other than addition, we can simply remove the parentheses. So we're going to remove the parentheses. All right. The next thing we can do is we needed to group these like terms. We have the x and the plus x right there. We group them, all right? So group like terms, or combine like terms if you want to say it that way. You can say combine if you want to. All right? Then we want to isolate the 2x by itself, so we're going to isolate the variable to one side. And then the last step is to divide by 2, which is going to isolate the x. So now we're going to isolate the x by itself. Isolate the x to one side and the constant to the other. All right, so make sure you're writing this down so that when you get to the next page, you'll be able to refer back to this so you don't have to write it twice. All right, so now we're going to look at the model it section. How do we know that MKL and NKM are complementary? Well, the answer to that is simply that they form a right angle. So in this part here, you're going to put they form a right angle. The next question is, why do the measures of MKL and NKM add up to 90 degrees? Well, because complementary angles add to 90 degrees. All right? Now the next step says look at solve it and give the reason for the steps used to solve the equation and write the reason next to each step. We've already done that, so you can just draw an arrow from this page to the previous page in your book and you'll know that. All right? The number 12 says, since you know that x is 38, what are the measure of MKL and NKM and show your work? How did you figure that out? Well, the measure of MKL was simply 38 plus 14. So MKL is 38 plus 14. 38 plus 14 because it was x plus 14 was the answer. And this one, the answer was simply, it was x. Right? And we know that x is equal to 38. Right? So 38 plus 14 was equal to 52 degrees. Right? And the measure of PKQ was also 52 degrees because it was, explain the reasoning, it was a vertical angle to angle MKL. All right? Now, what facts about angles could we use to learn to find the unknown angle measures on this previous page? We needed to know that complementary angles add to 90 degrees, and that vertical angles are congruent. All right, now that we have that, we can go on to the next page, and we have all these answers. All right, now that we've covered all that, we're going to apply our thinking to a new problem, and then we're going to support our thinking through proving our theorems are correct. So in this rectangle, PRST, line ST and line RT have been extended out past the edge of the rectangle. And what we want to know is the measure of angle PTR is X, and the measure of RTS is 2X minus 57. We're going to use that to find the measure of angle UTV. All right. In order to do that, we have to look at the fact that these two angles are complementary, and they're going to add up to 90. So we have X plus 2X minus 57 is equal to 90. Since we're just adding, we can just get rid of the parentheses and say X plus 2X minus 57 is equal to 90 degrees. Combine our like terms, we get 3X minus 57 is equal to 90. Add 57 to both sides so we can isolate the variable to one side, and we'll get 3X is equal to 147, and divide by 3 to get X by itself, and we get 3X itself is equal to 49 degrees. All right, now we're going to use that to find out the measure of this angle. We already know this one's 49 because that's just X. So we're going to use that to find this also. We have 2X minus 57, right? So 2 times 49 minus 57. That's going to give us 98 minus 57, which is going to be 49. And if we add 41, if we add 49 and 41, we're going to end up with 90. So 49 plus 41 equal 90 degrees. So the measure of this angle right here is 41, and we can check that by subtracting 49 from 90, and we can subtract this 41 from 90 and get 49, so we'll see we're both right. Since this is a vertical angle with this, its measure is also going to be 41 degrees. So the measure of angle UTV is equal to 41 degrees.